Okay, as promised, we are going to have a look at the first of the two past papers that we're going to do for the database division. Starting at 0417, 0417 is the course code, starting in November 2013. Obviously it's GCSE ICT. I'm going to skip the Microsoft Word bit because we don't need to do that immediately. So if we just jump and do the database stuff to get that done, I'm sure there'll be plenty of time in the future to come back and do the Word. As always, the first step is to import the database, and it's always the same. You're going to be getting external data from a text file. I have saved on the desktop because easiness, but it's not particularly good practice to do in real life. You see the file names are the same, which is the same file. Always be wary that we work with CSV files, which although they look like Access files, Access Excel files, they're text files. They're comma separated values. So you're always going to import them as text files, not spreadsheets, which is a common mistake. Doing that, you'll see a wall of text separated by commas, which means it's delimited, so we can just next do that. We're separated by commas. Our first row contains the field names, and you can see it's starting to look more like a database already. With data types, you can set them at this stage. We know that code should be text, description should be text, gigahertz should be text, contents, location, price is a currency, funnily enough. Reorder is an integer. You can leave as a long integer if you forget, it doesn't actually matter at this stage. Stock item is a boolean, or yes and no, or logical. And finally, stock level is also an integer. We don't have any dates in this example, but it's worth noting that if you don't change the date order line to British format, you might find some problems in the future. Okay. As you can see with a code, which looks to me like a primary key, it looks like a unique identifier. Typically, if you see codes or if you see IDs, you know they're already primary keys, so you can use that. In GCSE, you can call the table whatever you want, but I prefer just a simple name instead of having the N130 blah 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 blah. If we finish to import that, hopefully my computer can do it. And there we go. A couple bits and pieces you need to catch here. So currency values should be in euros. Stock items should be yes and no, and not 0 and -1 or true and false. And I think that's it. So if we go to the design view, check your stock item. Sorry, I'll full screen this. In the format, choose yes and no. And then the lookup is a text box. Sometimes this will default differently, so keep an eye on it. Currency is euros. There you go. So if you view this in datasheet view, which hopefully works this time, it doesn't take 2 hours. So yep, save the table. You see euros, yes and no's. There's some no's in there, data's not being lost. That looks good to me. Okay. So the next step is just adding some new content to it. This is an incredibly easy step and some free marks for you, so I'm just going to make you watch me type this. It's probably not the most exciting thing you'll ever see, but it is part of it. So. It's tempting to think, especially if you're under time, that you could just skip this bit, but usually the queries you have to do will show these 3 records, and that's how Cambridge know that you've done it or not. So I know it's tempting because typing in is the least exciting part, but please don't. I'll try and speed this up in the actual. And finally, the last one. You should make sure that you use visual verification to ensure that these are correct. Because if you have any typos in them at all, you will not get the marks for them. It's usually 1 mark each. Oops, 2. I'm not 21. 2. That's it. And that's that done. So that's good. We close and save. Okay. I've told you all this before, but in case it slips your mind, every time you have to do a query, every time you have to do a report, there's going to be a query in there somewhere. And the important thing is working out what you need to query for, what you need to what you can do in the report. I'm a big fan of the query design as opposed to query wizard, but if you want to practice the query wizard, you can. It's not a big deal. So you want to show all the fields. Just double click all of them. Well, nothing else in here really jumps out as heavily query based. We want where the contents is camera and it's a stock item. The rest of this stuff we'll do in the report. So contents is a camera, and product is in fact a stock item. So stock item is going to be yes. If you run that query to see what it looks like, you have lots of cameras in stock. So that looks okay to me. We will save the query. Call it cameras in stock. Again, naming doesn't matter that much, but for your own sanity and for readability, it's quite nice to give stuff proper names. The report wizard is always the easiest way to do this for reports, and so we want to show everything. All the fields are labels in full. It fits on a single page landscape. Data is sorted in ascending order by code. Has this heading with candidate details and stuff on it. So I'm going to be extra careful here because you get marks wrong if you put stuff in the wrong order and if you put stuff in the wrong place. So all these fields match code, description, gigahertz, content, location, price, reorder, stock item, stock level. In the correct order, we can just put them in. Next. There's no grouping mentioned. And we're sorting in ascending order of code. And ascending, so you can, if they had to be the other way. It's landscape. You can get away most of the time with leaving your reports tabular. And the title needs to be list of cameras in stock. So it's close already. List of cameras in stock. Again, there's a mark available for getting the name correct, so make sure you're putting it in right. If you're in reports design, you can already see it's going to need a bit of resizing. First things first, we'll put the name center number, candidate number at the top right of the page. If you use the labels, add a label, Mr. Kevin, XXXXX is my center number. And my candidate number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why not? That looks weird. I'm going to change that. Letter, number. There we go. I don't know where DF is. If it's a real place, I'm not actually from there. Okay, if we get the layout view, is often convenient for doing this. So, you need to make sure it all fits on one page wide. Something that people sometimes get confused about. If you wind up going onto a second page downwards, that's absolutely fine. Just so long as you don't sort of overflow onto two landscape pages. I'm making hand gestures, but you can't see them, so it feels stupid. Here we go. The code can be smaller. Move the description down. These ones, the descriptions are actually super long, so you can just make them down a bit and it'll text that. Oops. I think that has no more text to it. Yeah. It doesn't look natural ending of audio like that. Wired CMOS. So now this is cut off. If we scoot down the price, the order level, the stock item. Again, this can be a bit fiddly, but stock level, and that is everything done in place there. So you can, at this point, you would file print, but I'm not connected to a printer, and this computer is terrible, and PDF printing will probably cause it to explode, so I'm not going to bother. But if you print it, preview, you get a page looks a bit like that. So long as your that's not so good. As long as you have your candidate number on it in the right place, and it fits across the way, okay, it's fine. I will save this. That's that first one done. Next one is the bigger query. They will always include a calculate field, so it's definitely worth knowing how to do this. When you see calculate runtime, it is implying it needs to be done in the query. You may have learned to do calculated fields this way. It will work, but I would avoid it because if they ask for evidence of how you made it, you're not actually calculating it at runtime if you do it that way, so you might lose marks. Again, you're looking to see what fields you need. So we want shows only the code description price stopping. Code description price. Oh. Stock item stock level. And the order cost, which is our calculated field. To do the calculated field, same as always, you type the name of the field. This needs to match what they want it to be called. So reorder underscore cost. And you finish the name with a colon. After the colon, you tell it how to calculate the field. So in this case, we're doing the price multiplied by the order. So, square brackets to indicate that you're using a field. Price times the order. Close it off. You can check that worked. So 999. That looks about right. We're not actually seeing the reorder here. Sorry, so my maths was terrible there. But we put it in just for demonstration's sake. So $49.99 multiplied by 20. You don't need to do this, by the way. I'm just showing you that it works. In case you didn't believe me. We can get to that because we don't want it. It doesn't need to be seen. It would cause you to lose points. Okay, so more stuff from the query. We want prices less than €100. We want the item to be in stock, and the stock level is 3 or less. 3 or less implies it's inclusive, so you're going to do less than or equal to 3. Price is less than, so it's not inclusive, so it's down less than 100. Stock item is yes, and that gives us a few items there. Another thing here is that the calculate field has to be a currency. I think it will default to it, but if you click into that field and go to your property sheet, on the format, you can make it to euros to make sure it works. I think that's everything that we need here. The sorting is going to be the report, page orientations are the report, labels are going to be the report. So yeah, okay, so we can save this as items to place on order. Okay, and then create query design. Oh, not query, sorry. It's getting late. Report wizard. We want everything, check it's in the right order. So we have code followed by description, followed by price, followed by stock item, followed by stock level, followed by the order cost. So jobs to get in. We don't need any grouping. We are sorting by ascending order of description. Again, tabular should work, and it should automatically adjust to fit. It is portrait, sorry, I forgot to take that. So this looks like it shouldn't need too much adjustment to work. We have to done this, we've done this. Sort by description. Okay, so we need a total, which is the total value of all the items on this list. To do that, there's a number of ways you can do it. You can manually do it, where you create a text box and use your formulas. Or, because it's just a total, you can click on what you want to total up, in this case the order cost. Go into the totals, click sum, and it'll put your total down here. And then you create a label next to that to say what it is. And the label is supposed to say cost of order. Oh, I lost it, sorry. Cost of order with a space. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Calculate that. The total should be formatted as currency as well. It is already. It's formatted to euros. As the label. Items placed on order is their title, that is their name, center candidate number at the bottom of the report. Mr. Kevin, DF, blah 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 blah, and the candidate number. I think it's too long to be a candidate number, but it is what it is. Preview and layout view to make sure everything's readable, and that looks okay. Save and print this report. Again, I'm not going to print it because my computer is terrible. I will definitely save it. finally, we create one more report that's to be exported into a Word document later. I don't have the Word document because we're not doing that part, but I will show you. So you want to extract from all the data only the recorder kits using wireless technology that are for indoor use. And you only want to show the description contents. So we need description, GHZ, contents. And to actually add the criteria for the query, we'll also need the location and where we're going to get this other data from. Recorder kits are, is that content? Sorry, I don't know the data well enough. Recorder kit is a contents. And wireless technology will be gigahertz, I guess. Yeah, wireless. That's what Jay said. Okay, so we want only indoor. We'll just do step by step. Here's all the indoor ones. You want only recorder kits. This where it might go wrong because I might spell recorder kits wrong because I'm terrible at spelling. See? Let's get the clue back. Okay, recorder kit singular. Stupid mistake. For these queries, the more complex queries with lots of bits, it can help you if you go and do them all individually just to make sure you're not missing anything. Or you can identify where the problem might have come up. We notice that none of these are actually just directly called wireless. So we're going to be needing, you're going to be needing to use wildcards for this. So you're going to want star, anything before wireless, and star for anything after wireless. And if we run this again, there's only two things that come up. We don't want to see the location. And you want to, again, save this query as wireless recorders. I definitely can't spell recorders. Wireless recorders, and okay. And then one last time. Oh, sorry. Save the label. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's fine. We will export this. Because we're going to open it into Word, you want to export it into Word. What's that? And if I go to my desktop and files, we have fast recorders. And that gives you that you can then copy and paste into your Word document as requested later. And that's it. Done and done. Thank you.